Bottom left-hand side of Golden Wall in the early rounds of the Kung Fu Cup number 23, the weekly Korean event with $400 on the line. Our red Zerg player is DongRaeGu, representing the Afrika Freaks. Representing Kaizi Gaming, one of China's most loved players, and that's why I'm pretty sure it's one of the reasons he shows up to this event every week. It is a Chinese tournament. All the Chinese fans watch it. It is INnoVation, our blue Terran player in the bottom right-hand side. This has the potential to be a good, fun series. So I'm going to say it right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, then congratulations. You've tuned into an awesome TVZ. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We've had a slow week or two on YouTube due to GSL and DreamHack starting back up. So we really want to try and push 30,000 YouTube subs. So if you're around, if you're watching, if you're enjoying, and you don't already subscribe, consider hitting that button. But let's talk about this TVZ, as our DRG Overlord is really checking out quite carefully on this top side for proxies. Golden Wall has this tendency to be a proxy map, because I feel like there's a lot of places you can build the proxies. Here. Like, there's a lot of places we've seen proxies on this map, down here even. It's hard to cover them all with the Overlord, while also getting an Overlord across the map to see what's up. You know, and even, like, you know, if you go here versus here, it's almost still a 50-50 if you get seen or not. So this has been, you know, a map which has had its fair share of proxy racks action in the past. As INnoVation will be with the first Reaper about to pop. Is getting set up here, basically. So, just before the game started, so for the benefit of anyone watching on YouTube, if this does go up there, the ratio of games that these guys have won against each other is crazy. It's in DongRaeGu's favor since his return from the military. And that's something which more recently you might be like, okay, but I think whenever someone has a winning record against INnoVation, you've got to be kind of like, wow. And it's just a sign that DRG's style and mechanics and just this matchup has just gone so well for him. His ZVT really has been on point. I'd say it's one of his most impressive matchups. Probably his best from my point of view. Don't know if he feels the same exactly, but he just looks good in this matchup consistently. He's consistently out here winning games, winning series, and against INnoVation, he's won the last 5 maps they've played in a row. So let that speak for itself. And that includes the GSL round of 8, which of course was, you know, a very important series. So it's not just like, oh, well, INnoVation doesn't care, or, you know, we can't make excuses, basically. So don't start. And I know half of you were already typing out a reason in the comments or in the Twitch chat. So you just stop right there. Yeah, so Reaper up the left-hand side. We do see an Overlord from DRG out the right. An Overlord down the bottom side, looking to see what's going on. 10 drones coming up. Link speed about to finish. Just going to be seeing the starport finishing from INnoVation in a few moments' time. So, a couple queens and the Reaper dancing and diving around. Trying to figure out what it can get up to. The couple of Hellions are continuing out across the map, so they're going to join up onto this Reaper as well. And that's going to be the Reaper and 2 Hellions. A Rotron already on the way from DRG. INnoVation is building an armory. This can go very well or very badly wrong for INnoVation, actually. Because if the Roaches get aggressive and he has Hellbats to help him defend, it actually helps a lot. If he attacks into Roaches, then it's obviously not going to go well for him at all. So yeah, it's kind of a weird situation, because it kind of depends who pulls the trigger first. If INnoVation morphs these Hellbats and commits in too soon, that's really problematic. But if you can just figure it out, if you can just see a Roach. DRG is going to keep his Roaches in the natural for the moment. Hellbats are going to morph, and DRG is like, yeah, perfect for me. So this is really good for DRG. I mean, INnoVation is going to see the Roaches. He instantly moves back. Once he gets off creep, he should be all right here to just keep on running. The Roaches can barely keep up when on creep. So off creep should be okay. Lifts up 2 healthy Hellbats to go across the map and do some further damage with. Marine's already unloaded. He will siege up the Liberator, so that will at least force Ravages as a response. And the Bunker's on the way as well. The only thing I'm a bit worried about is that Bunker and Liberator in the same place. So if you morph the Ravages, which you've got the gas to do, morphing the Ravages is realistically going to kill the Bunker and the Lib at the same time. I'd love the Lib to be like off to the side and positioned here. And INnoVation, I think, is kind of realizing that. He does put the Liberator a bit further back. With the Hellbats in the front, he might be able to keep these Ravagers at bay as well. DRG is droning behind this. Support and INnoVation doesn't take all too much damage. He does not have a third CC because of this commitment to the Hellbat attack. So, no 3 CC means he's really not able to recover from damage that he takes here as easily as he might usually. Yeah, I think it is kind of scary for DRG to push up this ramp, but obviously he can just sit here, pick off these depots, and for the moment that is already good enough damage. That already puts him into a pretty nice spot. As a few more barrels going down. This Wooden Mine takes the hit. Does end up dodging away. I mean, obviously DRG is behind on tech from this. He goes into the lair now. The Banshee will be the shutdown on this. It will come out. It will force these Ravagers to fall back home. As these Ravagers, a couple more barrels. That's a dead Wooden Mine. Not much else to be said about it, but there's the Banshee. And obviously now DRG will decide to back away. So INnoVation going to push this back. The good thing is you keep all of these units alive, so you can still utilize those as DRG in a way to, you know, there's still units that can be used defensively. You don't have to just build up stuff because you've got nothing on the map. They can obviously still just be part of your main army composition. And there's that Spire going down. I was going to say DRG had a lot of money in the bank, a lot of gas especially. So he goes to rush into the Spire as the next step of this. INnoVation doesn't cotton on to the fact that there is a Spire in the main. Then he could be in some trouble because I don't see him setting up any sort of defense just yet. But he sees the Overseer, and that's good information. At least that a lair is up. So you've got to then think, well, what could come off of a lair? Hydras, Bane Speed, Spire. Those are the kind of things you can't start thinking of. And obviously, I think Mutalisks have to be a pretty big part of your mind there, as we will see a Liberator to the top left. We'll end up spotting this 4th base, which is just now being placed down. So 4th base placed, and INnoVation looking to do some harassment of his own. Obviously, still has these Hellbats up and alive. I think he's a little bit worried about maybe potential Nidus or so. He still has these Hellbats up and alive, and they can add a lot to the army if they end up fighting against the Ling Bane. As INnoVation has an upgrade lead. Honestly, you know, coming out of this, I kind of don't mind it for INnoVation. The only thing is that we are going to see a big kind of wave of kind of supply advantage from DRG when these meters get made. And those meters are going to come up very quickly, so they're going to be on the map right away to deal damage, and you're going to have to do very well against them as INnoVation. You cannot let these meters fly around your bases and kill 20 workers. As our Liberator goes into the main, is going to siege up, and those drones are immediately in trouble. And DRG, a little slow to respond because he knows this Liberator was here. I'd say losing 2 drones when you know the Liberator was already moving into the main is a little bit sloppy as this Lib kind of buys some time against the Mutas. The big thing is he's definitely seen the Spire now, right? He just flew over it, so he's definitely aware of the Spire. Even if he didn't see any Mutalisks just yet, these Mutas are diving straight for the third. A third which is going to have a missile turret on it, and Marine Stim doesn't quite get a Mutalisk kill, but is able to defend that position, as now we see DRG is going to loop around and look to go elsewhere. That's a medevac between the bases, picking up some reinforcements, and this is, of course, the power of the Mutalisks. Hyper-mobile. So they can just move in here, there, and everywhere. No missile turret in the natural. In fairness, the natural is like the last base you expect the Mutas to show up on, because it's kind of tucked away. You know, in terms of considering the Zerg attacks left or right on this map, it's kind of behind the third, it's behind the main from the bottom. So you'd really only expect an attack from the top, but obviously the Mutas kind of came in and cut the corner off there into the natural. So, you know, we'll probably have to build a turret there too, as he'll be just very defensive for a little while. There's just not really a good way to move out against these Mutalisks is the problem. He could maybe sneak a double drop up to the top, and maybe try for a run-in on the top left-hand base, but that's the best I've got for... I know if there's a way for him to do anything here, really. That's an SCV of those Mutas as the... we do see them having to turn back around and through the bottom side. 2-2 melee upgrades continuing from DRG. 2-2 attack and armor upgrades on the engineering base from INnoVation. Again, they are in a little lead. We'll see if he can do anything with that timing window he'll open for himself in the next minute and a half. It is tough, though, with these Mutas still staying on the front lines, staying aggressive. One of them gets shot down by a missile turret, but you can see DRG feels comfortable in the game, and that's why he's putting his infestation pit down. He knows he's okay here. He knows he's feeling good. And so he's like, well, there's no reason not to tech up further. There's no reason not to make my way in toward Hive Tech, in toward, you know what's coming next, the Ultralisks. Just trying to make their way in, but again, not really much else to be done just yet as the Hive is building on the main. It's just trying to find the next entry point. A few Marines down into the natural. See, Refinery here is going to get picked off. So Refinery goes down pretty quick. More Marines setting up against it. That Hive on the way from DRG, and just going to be seeing a hatchery on the upper left-hand side. I mean, DRG is about to be run into here in the middle of the map. INnoVation sees the army. He doesn't have 2-2 yet. It's not far away, but I mean, the good news is this was DRG's army very clumped up, so he actually took a lot of tank fire. There's now INnoVation. He's going to have to run back to the siege tanks yet again. He doesn't have enough Marines, does he? But he has more Marines showing up. Oh my god, those final biles, though, hit a lot of the tanks, and they all went down. Now INnoVation is going to be playing without splash damage against, well, only 12 Banelings morphing in. He does get rid of some creep spread here. He doesn't necessarily need to continue across the map, although he is just on 8 racks. He is kind of looking to just end the game with this 2-2 push. He's already building Marauders, so he's already expecting the possibility of the Ultralisk. So it's not like he's expecting to... I mean, if you're building Marauders, to me, you're not really expecting to win the game right here and now. You're kind of ready for the next step of the Zerg. Maybe only to get rid of the, have a good chance against the first wave of Zerg Ultras and then going from there. Hey, the Banes aren't really going to connect here, which means that the Lings just get massacred, and that was not a good fight from DRG. This Ling run by actually got choked up so heavily by the missile turrets that it really struggled to do anything at all. In the end, INnoVation will get the cleanup. It took him a little bit longer than I think he would have liked it to, though. Only 5 SCVs at least, and INnoVation will stay close in on being maxed out. I do like the Marauders, because if Ultras do get out here and INnoVation's on the verge of winning, it means he still has something of an answer to the Ultras. But, he doesn't just insta-lose the game when the first Ultra shows up. So I like those few Marauders being added in. It's obviously still great for tanking a few Baneling shots here and there as well. Push up onto the edge of the creep. The rest of this army from DRG hanging back. They're just kind of thinking about making their way through the bottom and on top of this army, but doesn't get there just yet as our Adrenal Glands is going to be finishing. Here we go. Bane's going to go rolling in on this. But again, INnoVation, his bio army is just so large that he's actually just able to kind of stand there and just fight the Banes. He's just able to like split in the concave and just kind of take that trade. This is big though. Mutas are going to go for the counterattack in. There's a lot of missile turrets in the main, but there's also Lings streaming through as well. INnoVation just says, well, okay then, we want to base trade, we're going to base trade. He just moves straight on through. 10 more Banes on the way up. He's going to get a hell of a siege up as he does see these Banes morphing in the main as well. He knows where these Banes are going to try and morph. It's such a really good call from INnoVation. You definitely don't want to let Banelings get up. That's one way you just really never win a base trade against a Zerg, when they can just make Banes. Well, he doesn't Lings control in his production, so he's not going to be able to build anything else here. A lot more Banes trying to build in the corner once again. INnoVation sees that he doesn't really have a choke point to work with, so he's going to leave out to the natural. These few Marines here could have done a lot more. They could have actually picked off a lot of these drones instead of targeting the hatchery. Can INnoVation make this work? I'm just a bit worried that this army is going to come down this ramp and do extremely well. You can target fire down the Banelings. They're stuck on the ramp. Oh, it's disgusting! The Banelings are getting massacred. Oh my god, it worked. INnoVation. He gets rid of all the Banes. That's what he needed right now as he continues around the map, picking off bases. The Mutalisk count is hurting from all the missile turrets they've had to fight. There's a planetary and turrets up here, so I don't think this base will fall. He catches the new Banelings, and INnoVation's going to clean out the top left side. Oh my goodness, Marines going to find another hatchery here once again. Lings, Mutas continue to fly around. I mean, they just can't fight these turrets over here, so the Lings will have to deal with that. It's the planetary fortress base that just will never really be broken. And DongRaeGu has a gold base and nothing else. Oh my goodness. A few more Banes just finished up down over here, but I think INnoVation, unless he takes the worst fight of all time, should be able to fight that. Whoa, that's bad. Going up the ramp, not seeing those Banes initially. That's kind of the start you're looking for, but then Mutalisk goes down. Can INnoVation just take his time and rebuild? He might be able to. There's only one base of DRG. The Hive is still alive in the main. Just lost 13 more workers. There's 56 drones of DRG, but he doesn't have anywhere to really mine from, right? Like, where are these drones? There's a bunch of them up over here. He could long distance, I guess, which would be good for him. The income right now still favoring DRG. The thing is, though, he's also only on 2 hatcheries. That impacts his production. And INnoVation now has 4 racks set up. And he's floating an orbital up to the top side of the map. 15, 16 minutes into this. And we have got some crazy mayhem going on Golden Wall. And I mean, DRG is about to mine out of one of the bases that he had. This gold base has only got half its patches left. And this orbital is going to land up the top there. The meters and the Bane's going to turn back around the bottom side. They want to try and find a way in. I'm a little afraid if INnoVation lets this Baneling count get much higher. Like, right now, his army supply is good. Let's see, as he stims. I mean, off creep, he's got a split available. He obviously is well split as well. Just needs to keep splitting these Marines on the far right, but the Banes do get there in the end. Did INnoVation just die? Yeah, there's just barely anything left for the Zerg, though. The round of reinforcements should actually be enough. A lot of INnoVation's army supply, I guess, didn't really mention is kind of in these medevacs. There's honestly a lot of Marines that just showed up here, but there's one Baneling, there's 2 Banelings, sorry. Oh, they go down. These Mutas will be turned away. The Marines will hold. INnoVation will land this orbital a second time. I mean, DRG's getting his bases back up and running, though. And Banelings, they just found the group of Marines in that corner. If they didn't die, INnoVation would have so much more. He's going to drop down mules here. INnoVation has to rebuild any production he wants, right? Those 4 racks are protected, yes, but, you know, if you want an extra factory, that's got to be rebuilt. If you want starport units, well, he doesn't need starport units, so let's just not talk about that. Only 7 meters, so they're really not that good at kind of diving in and picking off stuff anymore. I'd love to see, like, a missile turret here, though. Like, right here. Or here, to properly deny the run-up into this base. Especially against this amount of meters where you're going to be able to deal with them with just 1 turret or so. 2 meters go down, and that's huge pick-off. DRG has been building meters as well. He's been really desperate to get those in play. INnoVation's going to move up. There's kind of a lot of lings here, honestly. More Banes are now starting to morph. Marine's going to load up, pull back as everything else shows up. It does become a fight I think INnoVation can win. It's difficult, though. He's also got a fight on the creep, so that creep spread speed bonus is in play. Like the flanking idea from DRG, or the counterattack even, that works too. As Inno just starts to pick his way through this gold base, there's no defense up on this top side, so those Lings are going to do a lot. The Banes try and move in at the same time, but there's so many Marines here. Oh, INnoVation's going to lose like his entire economy, though. But is he just going to kill DRG's economy? Some of these Banes showing up. He needs to get rid of the Banelings. He's got to split as well as he can. Every single Marine is going to count. I don't think INnoVation really has enough. It's only medevacs left in the game, it feels like. As INnoVation goes running, 15 SCVs lost. The medevacs are going to get picked away at by Mutalisks. There's just not really units here right now. He has to lift up the orbital. A little bit of bio will get healed by the medevacs. And DRG has turned this around. Tell you what, DRG also has 3-3, and those upgrades have probably had a huge impact on these final trades. Considering it's just such low eco, such low army counts, an upgrade advantage goes much further than usual. Ah, INnoVation. He actually, I mean, considering he's playing a game where it kind of felt like pretty rough for him, he almost made the base trade work. I was wondering if there's more you could do. And instead of pulling home, maybe you should have just continued. It's tough, though. It really is tough to make a call like that. DRG's played it well, right? Like, he's counterattacked at the right times. He's kept the pressure up to kind of stop INnoVation mining properly. INnoVation making a sad face as DRG has, yeah. I don't know. I don't speak Korean. Oh, Banes are going to come rolling on in, and INnoVation knows it is over as GGO is called. And DRG takes the first map of this best of 3 in spectacular fashion on Golden Wall. What a game to start the series. As we go into game 2, we are stuck on a loading screen, but we are able to get into the game eventually. I still want to do one thing quickly, guys. I don't know how to see who's in the game. I feel like there's an account in here that's going to try and spam some stupid stuff at some point, so hopefully that is not the case. As you have in the top right-hand side, our red Zerg player who does lead the series up 1-0. This is DRG. Bottom left, our blue Terran player from Kaizi Gaming is INnoVation, and he very narrowly turned that one around. We're going to Ice and Chrome map 2. Interested to see what INnoVation has planned on Ice and Chrome. Although this has been a map which I would say once upon a time was a map where you never really expected the Terran to be able to play bio, but slowly and surely a few players have shown us successful bio plays on this. The problem is you need to control the game. You can't let it get out of control. The moment it gets out of control, the moment you start having a bad time. You need to control this area here against the fourth base of the Zerg. You need to control this choke point. It's very difficult and long for the Zerg to flank in around up here and around into this area. And they can run up here, but then you're just fighting a Zerg from two sides where you have like tank lines and chokes. So that typically, if you end up playing bio as INnoVation, this is where you want to be. So we'll see if he can get in that kind of spot later in the game. If he plays bio, if he plays mech, that position is still good, but it's not as valuable, basically. As the SCV will make its way out away to the upper right-hand side. So SCV is coming through and going to the upper right here. Couple of queens, a few lings coming up. Just gonna see our command center on the way. On the natural expansion. So yeah, getting this started up. Just gonna be seeing our SCV back down the bottom left hand side. Our ling speed building from DRG. And yeah, waiting to see what else is going to happen. There's a couple of queens coming up, our drones coming through. Factory on that main base, and INnoVation super fast 3 bases. That's not too weird on a large map like this. 3cc is something you can pretty much always get away with. Don't expect any early roach roaring here from DongRaeGu. We'll see what the follow-up to the 3cc is. Obviously, a Banshee would be very safe. A Battlecruiser would be quite greedy, but can put you into a good position to then play into mech. Could just be some Hellions and a starport for like a Liberator. There's a lot of different kind of options right now. Tech Lab on the racks. It's going to be a pretty fast stim, it would seem. No starport right away. We're still without a second gas here from INnoVation, so need to get that at some point soon. Stimpack in the main base in the 3rd CC, going to finish up very shortly. As you just got a couple of drones still on the way out. Was that the Reaper? Just died? Reaper did just die, so Reaper goes down, faces an unfortunate death. Nice from the Hellions, though. They get up here and they deny a creep tumor. That's great. Dives in, kills a creep tumor, gets the heck out. And there's our stim, there's our extra rack. So it is going to be that bio play. We're not going to be seeing mech here on Ice and Chrome. That's step 1. Those double evolution chambers on the natural expansion, so just getting those on the natural, and we do see the couple Hellions moving around, couple queens showing up. DRG going to be able to push those away down into the center. A couple of overlords coming through, the melee upgrades coming into play. Engineering base barracks continuing into the main and natural. Here's our Hellion just out down the bottom side at the moment. So Hellion out down the bottom, the starport building in the main. That factory is going to start up a reactor as well, so very standard stuff as we build into this bio army, right? Very, very standard stuff. It's going to be an Evo upgrade, kind of early game from DRG, so those melee upgrades are going to be nice and quick. No, just needs to start his +1 attack as well. Doesn't have the gas for it. Hopefully did realize that, because the worst thing that could happen is you start armor upgrade after missing your attack upgrade starting, and then you just don't actually get both upgrades. That would be pretty bad, especially if you miss an attack upgrade. Then you're just not going to deal any amount of damage anywhere, basically. Marines and Hellions joining up at the front as we do see our 1-1 upgrade. Our combat shields coming in. Baneling Nest on the back of this natural from DRG. And there's our 4th hatchery on the front as well. So getting that 4th hatchery up and running as our creep tumors go to the front as well. Lair is about to complete from DRG. There's a hatchery in the main base. Baneling Nest is going to finish from DRG. Just seeing our 1-1 melee upgrade is going to be on the Evo chambers. That will complete fairly soon as well, with 16 lings on the way out. While the Queen's setting up, a Baneling in the center. We do just have a lot of Marines. For the first little push, I mean, denying the creep spread and creating these opportunities, these pathways you can use later is so important. So these first 16 Marines have a really vital job. And get a couple active chambers. The problem is everything else is over here, so what more can be done? Well, he kills an Overlord and supply blocks DRG. He eats a Baneling connection though, and that's not quite the efficiency you expect. And I'm still worried about all of this creep out over here. The Hellions are kind of looking like they might want to go and join up. Looks like actually okay. They're gonna go around the right side. They can maybe hit the mineral line if he keeps the attention on the left. The watchtowers are not taken by DRG. INnoVation just gonna hold it. Looks like he just wanted to take the watchtower himself and watch for a run-by coming through, but there's nothing there. It is all focused over here. Now he joins the Hellions of the main army. And a scan to get rid of some more creep tumors. Both players on the way to 2-2 upgrades, meaning that 1-1 is done. So even upgrades in any, just in case any fight breaks out right now. Bit more Ling Bane. Going actually a lot of Lings out to the left-hand side there. So they're going to make their way over to the far left. 24 more Lings on the way up as they try to run through into the natural, but unable to. And the other Lings back up the left-hand side. Ling Bane still in the center. Marines, Hellbats, tanks. All of this from INnoVation continuing out around and up to the top. Fire army pushing up. Gonna see a lot of these creep tumors continuing to go down, and the damage being done here by INnoVation. We see more of these creep tumors being picked away at. As the Lings show up once again, and just gonna be seeing the bio army able to push those Lings back. Able to turn that back around once more as we see our 2-2 upgrades still coming in. +1 flyer attack coming through, extra meters showing up, and still seeing the Marines and the tanks continuing out up to the top side here. More of these Lings down the bottom, and they're going to make their way through to, well, see what's happening on this third base. And the answer is there's Marines here to deal with it. So Marines will push over, chasing those Lings out. Tank pushing forward as well is going to get sieged up. Marine's going to get a few of these creep tumors right now, so these creep tumors going down. These Queens in a bit of trouble. Oh, see, this is the position I was talking about earlier, and it really is nice. It forced the Zerg to come in from one side. INnoVation didn't have all of his tanks sieged though, so it's a really bad fight for him. Wow, let's just take a rewind on that. So this happened also quickly. I mean, honestly, he took some damage from the run by. It wasn't so bad, but he just wasn't quite in the position he needs. He's getting there. He's cleaned up the creep here. He wants to be like here. Like here-ish, and he's here right now, you know? So DRG realizes the threat, and as INnoVation tries to move a bit further forward, this tank goes very far forward, by the way. That's almost too cheekily far forward, right? And then this is the issue. Like, I feel like these two tanks, they're still kind of holding this kind of, they're holding here, and it's just a bit too much. Plus, this tank isn't sieged in time. And then INnoVation just runs out of space to split on. He actually pulls a lot of units down into this wall off, where you should actually maybe go back out this way. Because once you're here, there's nowhere for you to go to. And right now it's okay. It's when the Banelings find all of these Marines you're going to have the problem. And INnoVation just gets crushed, and then you just cannot find an answer for DRG.